So you wanna build a motorized bike, do you? Well, I'm here to help you out with that. I'm John, this is Hardware 570, and we're putting together a little video series here. We're covering everything from buying your first engine kit, getting the frame, and whatever bike you're gonna put it on, and we'll go all the way on through up to mounting, customizing, porting, modding, all of that good stuff. If you're interested in that, you're getting into the hobby, you're into the hobby already, don't forget to hit that little notification bell and subscribe so that you can keep up with the little series here. So yeah, without further ado, let's hop on into the next part, the frame. Alright guys, so if you've watched the first part of this series that I released yesterday, I went over some of the basics as far as what you should look for and what are good places to go as far as buying your first stock engine kit goes. If you'd like to check that out, if you haven't already seen it, I'll put a card somewhere up above for you there so you could go take a gander at that. So, today we're going to talk about the bike that you're going to be putting your engine on. There are tons of choices out there, and everything that I'm going to tell you today is working off the assumption that you don't have a bike that the motor will fit on, or you just outright don't own a bicycle. So I'll show you guys probably what is one of the most popular choices, right? Everybody builds their first motorized bike on a Wally World bicycle. Good old Walmart, right? So the number one choice I would say is probably the Huffy Cranbrook. It's a nice steel frame beach cruiser style bike. You got a nice big open frame there. It's built decently, you know, the frame is good and everything, but it's a $100 Walmart bike, right? I mean, you know, the wheels aren't great. You get a coaster brake on the rear, and that's it. The fenders that you see on here... Oh, sorry, got you guys on the wrong screen here. There we go. Yeah, the Huffy Cranbrook. So, yeah, the fenders here, these things are dangerous as all hell. I've seen countless people hurt because they didn't want to take people's advice and take the fenders off their bike. So there's choice number one, the Huffy Cranbrook. They're usually available at every Walmart across the globe. They come in a couple different colors, and it's a $100 bike. So you could have yourself up and running with a $150, $160 engine kit and a $100 bike, and get yourself a helmet. So for around $300, you could have yourself a decent little, grocery getter putt-putt bike. So then moving on down to a different style, here on Amazon we have the Roadmaster, the Granite Peak. It's a classic Walmart super cheap mountain bike, but this one has suspension front forks. You get front rim brakes and rear rim brakes. It's a 7-speed, I believe. It's a different frame geometry, right? The beach cruisers are obviously a more laid-back feel. You sit down a little bit lower. These Roadmaster mountain bikes, they're sold as mountain bikes, but they're laid out geometrically, more like a road bike. But it's got a nice big open triangle here for you to fit your motor kit in. You won't have any issues there. The components are decent. Again, this is a $130 bike, but this is a good choice. This will get you up and running until you could, work out some better parts or decide if you are into the hobby at all. This is the best way to find that out. You get yourself a cheap engine kit, a cheap bike, throw the stuff together, and if it frustrates the living hell out of you and you can't stand it, put it on Facebook and sell it. And if not, if you get bit by the bug and you want to start tinkering and customizing, well, there you go. You got a platform to play with. Now, another really popular option is the Hyper Beach Cruiser here. This was actually, I think I built my first motorized bike on the Hyper. But the thing is, with the Hypers, you get, again, rigid forks. pretty low quality wheels. Again, you only have a coaster brake on the rear. That's, you know, when you pedal backwards and the bike stops. But you get a good frame. The bars are kind of wonky. It's not really my style. It's not the layout that I like. I don't like the, you know, like ape hanger bars or beach cruiser bars. I like running nice wide mountain bike riser bars. That's my favorite layout. But if you could find one of these, it's a good option. I know a lot of people that build on them. There is one major limitation though, and that is the head tube here. That thing is the longest head tube I have ever seen, and the odds of you finding decent forks, like if you wanted to put mountain bike suspension forks on it, chances are you're not going to find anything that's long enough to fit through that steer tube. So bear that in mind. There's limitations to this. Again though, it's a $120 bike. I mean, you can't really expect much. Now here's another one. This is really popular. I see a lot of guys building on these, and I can understand why. It's the Mongoose Billet mountain bike. It's a 21 speed, 29-inch mag wheels on it, so that's pretty cool. It comes already set up with disc brakes front and rear, suspension forks, nice, you know, open, roomy frame, and it leaves you lots of room for upgrading down the road. You could put bigger brake calipers on, or rotors, bigger, better calipers, and you have room to play around. You can get a nice engine in there, fit your pipe up good. They're good bikes, and for $170, that puts you off to a really, really good start. So I definitely recommend them. What you want to avoid there is, it's called the Mongoose Mac. They come in a 26 and I believe a 27.5 setup. Those bikes I don't recommend. The frame is much tighter, so it's harder to get your engine in there. You have to use offset intakes, and it's just, it forces you into a whole bunch of unnecessary compromises right from the get-go. And it just, you know, compounds on itself from there. If you want to upgrade anything down the road, you're pretty much stuck to what you have. You can't put a bigger billet head on it, any of that stuff, and you'd need a custom intake made for anything else. And so I'll end this here. I'm trying to keep this video kind of short. I know I rambled on a good bit in the first one. I'm just trying to give you guys some quick general information here, and any questions you guys have, hit me up down in the comments. I'll be down there waiting for you. I'm always happy to help with any questions. Last but not least, far from it, is what I would say is the absolute pinnacle gold standard frame for building a motorized bike. Now, this is just a bare frame. You know, you're not going to get one of these as a built bicycle unless you buy something like I mentioned in the last video, the Fat Moto Rover, or, you know, any of those bikes. Them you could get as a pre-built, but you're not going to find, you know, factory OEM bikes built on these. There is a company, Felt Bicycles. If you know anything about bikes, I'm sure you've heard of them. They are the originators of this design, the Felt Phantom frame. And what happened was Phantom Bikes actually took that design, went to China with it, and started copying them. This was always a faux gas tank. When you get a real Felt, you have to seal the tank, drill it, and you know, thread a petcock in there, fuel shut off. These bikes, though, they come ready to go, welded, sealed, the gas cap and everything. You don't have to drill and add a bung or any of that stuff. So you get these frames for about $115 to, you know, $100 to $120 normally. But nowadays, they're going for about $200 after shipping. Just, you know, given everything that's gone on over the last year or so, and just their massive increase in popularity thanks to things like the Fat Moto bikes. You used to be able to get these things on Amazon shipped free to your door for like $120, but I guess those days are gone. But this is an all aluminum frame, 3.4 liter built-in gas tank. All, you know, just very well made. They have nice beefy chain stays and seat stays. The down tube and seat tube are nice and beefy. I've never had any problems, and I have built high-powered bikes on these things. They are fantastic. The most reinforcing I have ever done was putting a solid steel and in one and a solid aluminum post in the other that goes from right from the top of the seat tube clean down to the bottom, and it just, reinforces things. This is my number one pick. If you're gonna build a motorized bike, this is the frame that I always suggest. But this series is for the new guys. So for any of the new guys, the Huffy Cranbrook, the Hyper Beach Cruiser, the Mongoose Billet mountain bike with the 29-inch mags, and the Roadmaster Granite Peak. Now I'll make myself clear on this again. These are $100 bicycles from Walmart. There's nothing high quality about them. When you get it, set the bar low, right? Set the bar low, because they're nothing to write home about. But they are the perfect way to introduce yourself into the hobby on the cheap. So, yeah, like I said, I'm here to answer any questions you guys have. We're going to keep this series on going. Now, I'd like to, I want to hear from you guys. What do you want me to do next, right? I'm thinking next up, we're going to go over all of just the tiny little things that you need to make these bikes work, and all the little upgrades that I recommend doing off the bat when you build one of these bikes. So if you're looking forward to that, if you're partway through your build and you're looking for some ideas or a couple, maybe some advice on something that's tripping you up, happy to help you, man. So yeah, it's getting late here. I'm gonna wrap this up, start editing it together, and then we'll get it posted up. So thanks for stopping by, guys. As always, I appreciate you. Stay safe out there, ride safe, and enjoy your freedom. Catch you guys next time. Peace.